Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Katie Trotter, and I'm one of the facilitators for Our Community Listens. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about agreement versus acceptance in committed relationships. We're going to spend some time talking about the difference between the two and then really understanding the impact using either of those in our relationships can have. Oftentimes, in committed relationships, we may find ourselves in moments where our partner does or says something that we do not agree with. And in that moment, we really have two different ways that we can respond. Sometimes we choose to try to make them agree with us. We feel this deep need to get our partner to change their mind. We want to be right. And in that, when we are forcing agreement, what we're basically saying is that we are seeing where our partner is at. We are seeing what they're doing, but we are denying them the grace and space to think, act, and feel as they are in that moment. And in that need for agreement, we often feel like we have to sound off. We have to voice our opinion and tell them more and more about why what we are saying is right and why what they're saying or doing is wrong. Sometimes, though, even when we don't agree with our partner, we can reach this place of acceptance. We can see and be okay with where that person is at. We can give them grace and space to be thinking, feeling, or acting how they are in that moment. And when we can reach that place of genuine acceptance of who our partner is and their own unique values and traits, we don't feel this burning need to keep voicing our opinion over and over about, again, why we feel we are right and why we feel like they are wrong. When we do these two different options, there's a very significant shift in the dynamic of the conversation based on which of these two routes we go. Again, when we get focused on trying to force agreement, it really makes it difficult for us to listen to our partner. Because if I'm trying to get my partner to agree with me, then while they're talking, there's a good chance that my mind is pretty filled with the judgments that I'm having about the comments that they're making. My mind might be a little bit preoccupied with thinking about all the comebacks that I want to say the next time it's my turn to talk. Try to figure out how I can use the words in a way that's going to help build my case to show just how right I am. And as you can imagine, those kinds of conversations really typically lead to defensiveness. And you don't really hear a lot of success stories about somebody coming back at that with, actually, you know what, you're right. I've seen the light. Instead, when we really look at this place of acceptance, when we can look at our partner and see that their own unique needs, their own unique values are leading them to have opinions and behaviors that are different than ours, and that doesn't make them any more right or wrong than our own are right or wrong. It builds a lot of trust in those types of conversations where there's this acceptance that's extended, this grace that's shown to people. It really creates an environment where people are more likely to engage in discussion. It helps you to better understand yourself. It can help you to better understand your partner. Now, when we talk about disagreements within committed relationships, it's going to hit on a variety of different levels. There are times that we disagree on some things that might seem small. The right way to load a dishwasher. How much money should you really tip at a restaurant? Maybe I disagree with how they're handling a situation at work with their boss. Or maybe it's on bigger things. Maybe we have different religious opinions. Maybe we are on different sides of politics. Maybe we really cannot come to an agreement on how we want to handle some parenting things with our kids. But regardless of whether it feels like a small disagreement or a big disagreement, it can be really helpful for us to not lose sight of why those disagreements are happening in the first place. Because we can't lose sight of the fact that every behavior that a person exhibits, whether it's my behavior or my partner's behavior, it's coming from a need. All of us have these deep-seated values and needs that are unique to us, and those lead to our attitudes and our opinions about how things should be done. And those result in the behaviors that we're actually doing. So what do we do, right? Maybe we really want to reach this beautiful space of acceptance, but it can seem really intimidating and difficult to get through. So when you do find that you're disagreeing with your spouse, step one, take a breath and pause. Make sure that you really understand why this is something you're disagreeing with. Think about what the behavior was, what was bugging you, and determine what need or value of mine is feeling impacted or threatened by that behavior. Then it can be really helpful at that point, before you engage in discussion, to check your motive. Am I there because I want to engage in discussion with my partner? Am I there because I really want to learn more about them and to expand my understanding of their own unique needs and values? Or am I going into that conversation because it's really important for me to be right? Am I going into that discussion because I want to win and I want to change their mind? Because maybe you can even hear it when you see those both in the same sentence. It's going to have a very different turnout based on your motive going into that conversation. And then step 3, listen to understand, not to be understood. Your goal in that moment is to create an environment to use your reflective listening skills in a way that allows your partner to feel truly heard. Acceptance comes after you can really extend grace and space for a person to share their thoughts, their perspectives, their feelings, their reactions in an environment where you're not judging, you're not trying to convince them to feel in a different way. Use that silence and those door openers. Check your tone and your nonverbals to show that you are really there because you want to grow in your relationship. Acceptance can really allow you and your partner to share with each other in a way that leads to many more meaningful discussions than what you ever imagined possible. So the next time that you find yourself disagreeing with your partner, take a minute and ask yourself, do I want to be right, or do I want to grow in my relationship? Thank you for listening.